Up next on Small Town Big Deal. We'll see how small towns in one state are stepping up to the plate.
This is their last summer of innocence.
Every kid dreams to play here.
Transforming dreams into reality.
And later,
Just put them all in?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Things get a little nutty as we try to master the sweetest southern delicacy of them all.
That is a praline, fresh, homemade, right there.
welcome to Small Town Big Deal.
We've traveled across the country and firmly believe that the people in small towns are the hands that keep America strong.
So join us, Rodney Miller,
And Jan Carl,
as we show you the great things these people do on Small Town Big Deal. Welcome to Small Town Big Deal. I'm Rodney Miller.
And I'm Jan Carl. You know, sometimes the biggest dreams are born in the smallest towns.
You know, and the big dreams we're talking about is to play baseball in the majors.
That's right. And the small towns that make up this summer league that we're about to show you, well, they've created over 1,000 professional players.
That's right. She said 1,000.
Welcome to Dorner Park. Today's game is between the visiting Harvard Mariners and your Born Braves.
This is like their last summer of innocence for these players. You never know when you're going to see a future star.
Hey, McKay.
you can hear the passion in their voices.
The reason I love playing baseball is for the competition. Every time I step on the mound, I want to get the best out of myself.
It's probably the most fun sport. It's America's pastime.
These college kids are thirsting for a life in the big leagues.
And this summer, they'll whet their appetite just a little more. They are among the best of the best in college baseball, and they have been invited to play in the Cape Cod Baseball League.
This is definitely the best league in the country.
Every kid dreams to play here. You can't say no.
The league, made up of 10 teams, is a big deal for small towns in Cape Cod. The Cape, as it's known, starts about 50 miles southeast of Boston and is shaped a little like a 75-mile-long arm flexing its muscles.
But it's the power of human muscles that draws crowds to the league's 44 games each summer.
This is a training ground for Major League Baseball, and that's our goal, is to get these players better and ready for a career in professional baseball.
No one knows that better than Judy Walden-Scarafile. She's the president of the league.
Approximately 1 in 6 players in all of MLB came through the Cape League.
The list of league alumni, it reads like a who's who of Major League Baseball history.
Yeah, that's for sure. Guys like Martin Teixeira and Thurman Munson and Sid Bream, I mean, there are hundreds more.
Brock Holt.
And a league with high-profile alumni isn't complete without its own Hall of Fame. The Cape Cod Baseball League Hall of Fame is in Hyannis, paying homage to the league's teams, towns, and rich history.
And here you have the Chatham Anglers.
That's where we met John Garner.
How did this all begin?
It really all began when the Union soldiers came back from the Civil War, and they learned the game of baseball from their New York brethren, who usually their tents would be next to, the New England guys. It was basically town teams made up of maybe 16-year-old boys and 52-year-old men. So you might have a grandfather, a son, and a grandson all playing on the same team. That changed drastically in 1963 when it became sanctioned. You had to have NCAA eligibility remaining in order to be a player. So you're either after your freshman, after your sophomore, or after your junior season.
Visitors to the Hall of Fame range from the casual baseball enthusiast to current league players. Today, the Orleans Firebirds are here touching base with history.
So most of these guys were former Civil War soldiers who...
And wrapping themselves up in it, this player gets to try on Thurman Munson's actual Yankee jersey.
It's very ironic that the Orleans team just came in. I'm holding a bat here that was used by Robert Red Rolfe, who was the starting shortstop for the Orleans town team in the Cape League in 1930. He went on to become Lou Gehrig's roommate with the New York Yankees.
But the league that has been turning out powerhouse players is powered almost entirely by small town spirit.
We are really a part of the fabric of the community. And I love that part. I love the community part.
All right, guys, breakfast is ready.
If you ask Nicole or Algis Norkovicius how many kids they have, they'll tell you about their boys, Colin and Mitchell. They will also tell you about their boys of summer. They volunteer to host out-of-town players.
Okay, you have like 2 instant big brothers. That's cool?
Yes.
One of them is Dan Jagiello from Long Island University. The other is Reed Humphreys from Mississippi State.
Has Reed taught you anything about the South, being you guys being northern boys?
They call rotaries roundabouts down in the South.
You can see how much the boys love having those ball players in their home for the summer. I mean, that's just really cool. These guys being such really good baseball players, and you guys I think are wanting to be baseball players, have they inspired you to work hard? And
yeah, because like they all go to the field really early for games.
But today, they've got some spare time for fishing on the Cape Cod Canal.
I never really had younger brothers before. I only have an older sister, so it's definitely interesting.
Do you pound on them?
Nah.
Oh, come on, just a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
More kids get dressed out of you. It's definitely cool though. You're like a role model to them. Never had that before.
do you feel like you've made lifelong friends, or?
Oh, definitely. I mean, they've done so much for me and really made me feel at home.
The Norkovicius family is one of nearly 200 families across the Cape to host league players. This is their 6th summer hosting.
Why did you guys make the decision to start doing this in the first place?
Colin and Mitchell both love baseball, so we do it mostly for them. They love having big brothers. They play with them all the time. Everyone that seems to come in and host really does enjoy it.
And then when they come in, it's just basically within a week or two, they're basically part of a member of the family.
Do you have any rules at your host house?
Yeah, we have a few rules. Clean up after yourself, take care of the dog. Don't be home too late because of the young children, but that's not a big deal.
With the host families, is there much turnover or do they love it and do it year after year?
I'm interested in that too.
I'd say the average might be 6 years, 7 years.
What's amazing is not only are the host families volunteers, but nearly every single job in the league and on the field, well, those are all volunteer positions too. Talk about a community pitching in to help.
So Judy, about how many volunteers does it take to run the league?
200.
And for what you're pulling off, that doesn't seem like a lot. So I think everybody's doing more than one job.
Ooh, nice. Everybody works. Everybody has a real job. Yeah. I'm a pharmacist by trade, but I haven't done much pharmacy work lately.
What struck me was that we didn't have to pay to get into the game. In fact, all Cape League games are free to the public.
But the cost to keep the league running, that's everything from maintaining 10 ball fields to buying bats and balls. It all adds up.
Our budget is about $2.25 million a year.
Did you say 2.25 million? Wow.
And that's why we have to fundraise so much.
And do they fundraise year-round, I'm assuming?
They do.
Yeah.
And Nicole is part of that fundraising effort, which reaches deep into the community. In addition to being a host mom, she plays a second position with the league as team president of the Bourne Braves. It entails a lot.
Organizing community outreach with the area schools and little leagues, the concession stand, merchandise, team dinners.
But still, a league like this just brings out the kid in its adult volunteers, no matter how old they are or sound.
Next up on Small Town Big Deal.
They can't live without the cell phones. I tell them to put them away. We're going to have social intercourse, and they go.
How hosting never grows old for someone 86 years young. Welcome back to Small Town Big Deal.
Today we're on Cape Cod, Massachusetts, where every summer the best of the best in college baseball vie for a chance at the big leagues.
The Cape Cod Baseball League, which started in the late 1800s, has turned out over 1,000 major league players. Every season, nearly 300,000 people flock to league games from all over.
And nearly 200 families in the community, like the Norkovicius family,
play host to out-of-town college athletes. Many do it for years at a time.
Who's reading? Nobody. John's reading. John's bright. I'm not too sure about Joseph.
But it's an entirely different ball game for players who stay with Barbara Ellsworth.
I just took 5 towels off, wet towels off Dylan's floor. They can't live without the cell phones. I tell them to put them away. We're going to have social intercourse, and they go.
She likes to be called
Mrs. E.
Her walls are decorated with hundreds of pictures. All are a testament to 36 years of hosting over 130 players.
Nobody knows if those are league records, but they are indeed impressive stats for the 86-year-old Cape Cod resident who has seen her share of players come and go. So this is
Joe Kelly from UC Riverside. No idea he'd ever be a major leaguer, of course, but you don't with any of them.
Her boys, as she likes to refer to them, learn very quickly to play by her rules.
She's pretty old school. She likes things to be done the way she wants to be done, the way she wants them to be done.
So in this house, if you want to know what side your Cape Cod Baseball League is butted on, you will do as I say.
So what are the rules at Mrs. E's house?
The rules in this house are no girls downstairs, and there's no girls in baseball. They sap your strength. I'm having a hard time with Johnny Adams. He has a cute little girlfriend that I give him the business about, but they cannot wear a hat in the house. Never heard that. When a female friend of mine comes, I want them standing up.
You've been doing this 36 years. How have you seen kids change during that time?
Oh my God, you can't believe. They would come across broken glass and hot coals to play in the Cape League 36 years ago. Today's kid thinks, a lot of them think we're lucky to have them. These kids are taken to showcases and pitching lessons at 3 and, you know, the whole 9 yards. And their parents are investing in major league salaries for them.
So when the Cape League comes calling, Mrs. E might say, you're a step closer to that investment paying off. One of her kids this summer is Joe O'Donnell, who pitches for North Carolina State.
The number of scouts up here, is that more than you've ever played before in the past?
Oh yeah, definitely. As soon as you step up on the mound, especially early in the year, there's 15, 20 guys sitting back there with a radar gun.
It's not uncommon for a kid to have family in the majors.
Is it okay if I go take a nap downstairs before the game?
No.
Kevin Biggio is staying with Mrs. E too. And here he is with his dad, Craig, just after he was inducted into the MLB Hall of Fame.
Craig Biggio played for the Houston Astros for 19 seasons. Before that, he played for the Cape League. What kind of influence has that had on you?
Yeah, well, my dad grew up as a blue-collar guy out of Long Island, New York, and just always hardworking. And that's probably the biggest thing that he preaches to me is, always hard work. As everyone knows how good of a baseball player he is, he's probably an even better father because, he retired early just to, see my brother and I play high school baseball.
Back at the Norcovicius house, Dan Giglio and Reed Humphreys are playing big brothers to the kids. Humphrey's big brother is Tyler Moore, who plays for the Washington Nationals. And having an older brother who's a major league player, does that put added pressure on you, or is it open doors? How's that affect you?
He just tries to help me out and let me know that you're going to struggle and you're going to have hard times. You just got to keep going.
And that's why playing in the Cape League is hardly a one-way ticket to the majors.
So what's your backup plan?
Get an education, try and be an accountant, pass my CPA exam, hopefully.
That's a big dream, to be a Major League Baseball player.
I don't know, it's scary too, because only so many people in the whole entire world get to make it.
But even if these kids never play a single day for the majors, most still won't leave the small towns of Cape Cod empty-handed.
The relationships that are developed and nurtured through the years between the players and their new parents, it's just wonderful.
We've been very fortunate to have kids that have played really well on the field and become a real part of our family.
Just kind of come in and we eat dinner together every night, and it's kind of just a big family.
I go to weddings. I went to a wedding in San Francisco.
I don't know how anyone couldn't love her. She's got a big heart. She wants you to do the best, and she wants you to succeed.
Coming up next on Small Town Big Deal, things get a little nutty as we try to master the sweetest southern delicacy of them all.
That is a praline, fresh homemade, right there.
Welcome back to Small Town Big Deal. We've headed down south from Cape Cod all the way to the historic waterfront district of Savannah, Georgia.
Pralines.
Free samples?
Yes, free pralines.
Free samples?
Yes.
From the moment you step inside the famed Savannah's Candy Kitchen, your senses take over. And any shred of willpower you thought you had, well, it goes right out the window.
Oh boy.
Yeah, just the aroma. I'm gaining weight. That's what I was going to say too. Yeah.
But the Candy Kitchen's real claim to fame is that most southern of all confections, their world-famous pecan pralines.
All right, I got y'all some aprons ready. We're about to go make some homemade pralines. Y'all ready?
I'm ready for it.
He's already been sampling, FYI. Yeah.
I can tell.
You can tell the smile on his face.
At just 20 years old, Rhett Strickland is a third-generation candy maker.
We make more pralines here at Savannah's Candy Kitchen than any other manufacturer in the world.
In the world?
In the world.
Whoa! Okay, check out these stats. Every year, Savannah's Candy Kitchen uses 1.3 million pounds of sugar and more than 1 million pounds of Georgia-grown pecans.
So you guys are almost single-handedly responsible for a lot of weight gain around the world.
Well, you know, you take your wins and losses in life, but if it makes anybody happier, I'll take that blame.
Hey, you know.
All right, well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get our sugar ready.
So what exactly is a praline? Well, it's got the 4 basic food groups: sugar, butter, half and half, and pecans. Lots of them.
Is it pecans or is it pecan?
Well, I'm a true Southerner. I like to say pecans. Some people like to argue, but I can't make myself say pecan.
Look at you, can hardly say it.
It's hard for me.
A little dash of baking soda, and then Rhett gets that baby cranking.
Woo, and there it goes.
It doesn't get much better than that.
Man.
For the 20 minutes or so that the mixture is cooking, we get to give out samples from another batch to customers.
Come on in.
Thank you. Melts in your mouth.
You like?
There you go, because you should have seen his face. That is a praline. Okay, y'all pour it in your hand because there's little pieces too.
Like some samples? You're gonna love that. Can I have your? She said I could have her sample. You had a praline before? Oh, you're gonna love this.
Australia.
You're gonna want to take some of these home. Germany.
Germany?
Wow.
This is like the United Nations here.
Wow. You know, I think I ate as many samples as I handed out. This is way too dangerous of a job for my waistline.
Just put them all in?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Meanwhile, our batch of pralines was just about ready.
You can butter down our table?
Butter down the table.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yeah. Paula Dean would be proud of me.
Oh, and by the way, that sound you're hearing, those are my arteries closing up. But, ooh, so worth it.
See what we got going on here.
Oh my, that looks really good.
Oh, it does. It even smells better.
Now comes the fun part, scooping them out onto the marble slab where they take shape and cool.
Now this is an art form, just to let you know. I'm gonna let y'all take turns and we'll see how y'all got it.
Yeah, as usual, it becomes a contest to see who can make the better praline.
Of course, ladies first.
And remember to grab your nuts with it too.
Oh, and it's hot.
Yes, ma'am. It is 250 degrees right now.
Now that one popped out earlier. Can I just put it over it?
Yes, ma'am, you can. I do that all the time.
All right, Rodney, you're up.
Mr. Rodney, let's see how you can do.
Okay, just...
That's gonna be a big old praline.
Now, how's that one, Rhett?
That one's a little big, but it's getting there.
I thought it was perfect myself, but...
No, that's perfect right there.
Hers are perfect, now I'm telling you.
So, Rhett, I have a question. Between me and Rodney, who would you hire?
Ooh, between both of y'all. Now that's tough, I have to say, but she's been perfect almost all the way through. I mean, you got to give it to her.
A guy
I have to.
chooses between me or Jan. I'm not going to win that one. I mean,
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Small Town Big Deal. Rhett,
is amazing. I think even at such a young age, if he takes over the family business soon, their future is secure.
Yeah, I think even if I'm their only customer, he's going to do pretty good.
Yeah, you need to buy some because you ate a lot of their profits today.
You know, and I'm a big sports fan, and I'd really never heard of the Cape Cod League.
I never had either, but there's two things I'm going to remember. How many of the players went on to the majors? And of course, I'm never going to forget Mrs. E.
I know, she's pretty unforgettable.
She is. She's tough, but she loves baseball like nobody's business.
I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Small Town Big Deal.
And we hope you will check out our website at smalltownbigdeal.com and like us on Facebook. We love to see those likes go up.
I'm Rodney Miller.
And I'm Jan Carl.
Join us again next week when once again we celebrate the great stories from across America.
And when they call me, they will say, "Are you busy, Mrs. E? Do you have time for social intercourse?" That's the one thing they remember about their years being here. I do not give them a curfew because they're here for a purpose, and if they're too dumb to take advantage of it, if they're really, really abusing it, I will sit on them.